Call the meeting to order. Start by prayer.
Father, we thank you for this beautiful day, and we thank you for being privileged to serve in this community. We thank you for the people that are willing to give up their time to serve you, God. And we pray now for this meeting that you will give us wisdom, great wisdom, supernatural wisdom to make the decisions that we have to make. It's kind of difficult. Sometimes we're picking between two good things, God, but give us the wisdom of what you would like us to do. Just pray that you'll be with us, bless us, and keep us at peace. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. We can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Here.
Commissioner Peterson,
Here.
Commissioner Fournier, Commissioner Francisco,
Here.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Here.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Here. Everyone had a chance to look at the agenda, and I'd look for a motion, unless there's anything to add to the agenda. I'd look for a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fournier,
I'll support.
support by Commissioner Francisco. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll move into, so we have a resolution of tribute to the Register of Deeds for Catherine Murphy.
Here.
Rich class, son.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, I'm going to read the resolution that we have. So Resolution 2413 by the Alpena County Board of Commissioners, tribute to the County Register of Deeds, Catherine Murphy. Whereas County Register of Deeds, Catherine Murphy has diligently and faithfully served the residents of Alpena County for 25 years. And whereas Ms. Murphy began her career with the County of Alpena on September 7th, 1999, as a clerical assistant to the County Register of Deeds. And whereas Ms. Murphy has exhibited the utmost in professional capabilities combined with a sincere caring support for her staff while maintaining efficient administrative function of the County Register of Deeds. And whereas Ms. Murphy on June 3rd, 2019 was sworn in as Chief Deputy of Register of Deeds. And whereas Ms. Murphy on March 2nd, 2020 was appointed and sworn in as Register of Deeds and elected in November of 2020. And whereas Ms. Murphy worked diligently with the public, financial institutions, title companies, searchers, and surveyors. And whereas Ms. Murphy always greeted everyone with a warm smile and gracious personality she carried with her in her professional manner with her staff and the citizens of Alpena County. And whereas Ms. Murphy's knowledge and expertise of county, state, and federal rules with the list that could go on of her experience working with and for the citizens of the community. And whereas Ms. Murphy will be greatly missed by the staff in the Register of Deeds, County Board of Commissioners, employees of the county, and the citizens of Alpena County. And therefore be it resolved that the Alpena County Board of Commissioners would like to express our deepest gratitude and appreciation to Catherine Murphy for serving as a County Register of Deeds for the County of Alpena, for her loyalty, commitment, and dedication to serving the citizens of Alpena County. Moved by Commissioner Kozlowski and supported by Commissioner Malone to approve the resolution on tribute to County Register of Deeds, Catherine Murphy, as presented. Motion carried. Okay, we would like you to come up here and we'll present you this. I'll go over here. Should have just given this to you. Okay, here you go. This is all your dedication and hard work. We appreciate it all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Mind?
As soon as I could get off video.
Yeah. I'm the one that hired her.
Yeah.
24, 25 years old. Okay.
Just the other day.
Okay, so we'll have a public comment at this time. We limit it to 3 minutes per person. Because we do have 2 public comments, we have to limit the first public comment to 15 minutes so we can conduct our business. So if you don't get squeezed in the first 15 minutes, we'll move you, or we have the second public comment, which is unlimited. We don't have anything here until 4:30 this afternoon, so if you want. All day. So if you do have a public comment, well, as I said, we'll limit to 3 minutes. If you could step up to the podium, state your name and address, and we'll go from there.
Dorothy Boyd, Maple Ridge Township. We are here today to continue our mission of saving the children of Alpena County from unexpected exposure to graphic sex books placed within their reach at the public library. Our book challenge was lost with a 100% vote by the current library board to keep these books in the reach of our youth. This was a fight for morality, a fight between good and evil. Why do I say this? This is not just about book placement, but about the blatant refusal of this board to give the parents any tools to guide their children away from books with sexual acts hidden in the content. We had 3 suggestions for parental tools. First, place the book in the adult section where a parent might reasonably expect to pre-read for content. Second, label all books with sexual content on their front covers so parents again could check them for content. Finally, place posters on the walls around the library telling the parents that books with graphic sex content can be found anywhere in the library. I asked 3 times before I was given an answer to why they were so opposed to placing these books in the adult section. The answer, quote, because they might not find them there. The American Library Association in 2022 elected for their CEO a self-declared Marxist. In their diversity section was a rather detailed article titled, "How Small Town Libraries Can Groom Children for Sex." Libraries across the country are leaving ALA for this very reason. We suggested our library should do the same, shot down by the board. All in the name of the First Amendment rights of children not to be impeded or restricted from any area in the library, with or without an adult. This means that our kids can go into the adult section unaccompanied by their parents and read any book that they want, regardless of the age of that child. Ruth Bader Ginsburg versus New York, 390 U.S. 629, 1968. Ginsburg stated, "A state has the power to protect minors by regulating material that is not classified as obscene to adults, but may be harmful to children." ALA in their own guidelines states the ultimate choice for where a book is placed is with the local librarian, but our librarian states she will not and cannot choose on her own. Why? She chooses the books that go in the adult section and in fact, all sections of the library. Who tells her where they go? There is supposed to be public input at this phase, but there is none. Book challenges are stalled or go unanswered completely. People are maligned at board meetings without a voice to defend themselves. This has to stop, and staff unwilling to work with the public might need to find another profession. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Julie Burns. I live in Alpena Township. Following up with Dorothy's comment, mine is the same complaint. We filed an appeal in December of 2023. It finally came before the board last month. 6 months it took to get there. There's 4 books. Mine was All Boys Aren't Blue, but there's 4 books that have been appealed. All of them have been denied either by the staff or the board. And we don't vote for the library staff. We don't vote for the library board. We vote for you. So I guess ultimately the decision of what happens or what's in the library rests with you. If I want to read just a small part, well, let me give you the names of the book. It's Perfectly Normal. That's for ages 6 to 12. Let's Talk About It, ages 12 to 17. All Boys Aren't Blue, ages 12 to 17. Jack of Hearts and Other Parts, 12 to 17. I'm going to just read a small part from It's Perfectly Normal. It's kind of a lot of illustrations in the book, and the first one, the illustration is anal sex between two couples. And the text that goes with it says, when consumed right, porn can help you discover new aspects of your sexuality and help you safely explore kinks and fantasies. Do your research, look up interviews from your favorite porn performers, go to the sites they recommend, and pay for your own porn. And then there's another one on page 165. There's an illustration. This one is of oral sex between two people. And the text says, but here's a heads up. Pornography is a performance. Sometimes I worry I watch too much porn, you know? Yeah, I know that's worry, but there's nothing wrong with enjoying some porn. It's a fun, sugary treat. This is in the kids section of the library. I don't know about you, but that's worse than some of the Playboy books that my brothers had. So I just don't think it should be in our public library. I don't think we should pay for it. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon. It's good to see everybody again. I've been following the Safe Book for Kids Facebook group for quite some time and attended their last month's board meeting. Many parents have been working diligently to get the pornography moved out of the teen and children's section of the library. To get one book moved, they went through the library's procedure for reviewing it, and it took more than a year to complete. They skipped the step for public discussion between the board and the public. It's also a policy that parents can't go to the teen or children area without their children accompanying them. After a 30-minute conversation with John, I understood he related where he and Jesse visited the library, and I understand your process of how the library board is filled. I listened to the assistant director at the library tell us that this is a First Amendment freedom of speech issue as to why pornography books are in the children's section. What nonsense. Whose speech is being blocked here? It's apparent that they have an agenda to execute, regardless of what Alpena parents think, and this has to stop. As the adults in the room here, we understand age-appropriate limits on movies and books, pornographic nature and violent behavior. It has been this way for many, many years. Still, you must be 18 years old to go to the sex shop on South US 23 to see that information otherwise. If the library can't get policy in place by the June board meeting, then the only alternative is to get control of the distribution of books of pornographic nature to the children, is to defeat the millage in November. Alpena can and must do better. Being closed will stop this problem and cause further headaches in your budget that is already underwater. What can and will you do to keep our kids safe? Thank you.
My name is Noni Muller, and I live in Alpena here. Having worked in the healthcare system as a nurse, my professional career, I want to speak to the trauma of childhood sexual abuse. I'm basically going to name some statistics because it's a very complex issue, and it spans lots of coping skills and traumas and symptomatology that can be lifelong for most people that have been sexually abused. Sexual abuse is, and there's a handout for the board, sexual abuse is particularly a sinister type of trauma because of the shame that it instills in the victim. With childhood sexual abuse, victims are often too young to know how to express what is happening and to seek out help. When not properly treated, this can result in a lifetime of PTSD, depression, and anxiety. And I might add, even with immediate treatment, rather than the years and years when it's repressed and only remembered in adulthood, it still has an effect on the child. It's an always experience. The trauma that results from sexual abuse is a syndrome that affects not just the victim, but their family and all of society. I don't think there's too many people who would say our society is perfectly healthy and normal and that everything is going along just fine. Sexual abuse, molestation, and rape are such shame-filled events that our culture attempts to suppress it. We don't talk about that. 1 out of 3 females in the US and 1 out of 5 males have been victims of sexual abuse before they're 18 years old. 30% of all male children are molested in some way, and compared to 40% of females. So we're not talking just a handful of people. Children are 3 times more likely to be victims of rape than adults. Children are the targets, and that seems to be where pedophiles and are focusing their attentions, the grooming and the sexual trafficking. Symptoms can extend far into childhood, as I had mentioned before. On this handout, there's about 12 to 15 different kinds of symptoms: distrust of adults, difficulty relating to others except in sexual or seductive ways, frequent accidents, refusal to go to school, neurotic behaviors, habit disorders, prostitution, forcing sexual acts on other children. And that brings up the next point, is that often people who have been abused are more likely to go on to abuse other children or others in general, depending. Some of the other common out.
Time's up.
Time's up. If you want to continue at the end, you have non-public.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Jackie Bordeaux, and I live in Presque Township. I come to you today as a wife, a mother of 4 children, a grandmother of 12, and I taught 2nd grade for 24 years. I want to talk about the book that's in our library called It's Perfectly Normal, which is in the section for 6 to 12-year-olds. Page 9 describes lesbian and homosexual sex acts. And it says another kind of sexual intercourse happens when the sexual parts of 2 people who have female bodies touch, or when the sexual parts of 2 people with male bodies touch. This kind of touching can make the whole body feel good, feel sexy. An illustration depicts 2 nude males lying on a bed. One of the men is shown pressing his pelvis into the other man's buttocks. Page 10 describes oral and anal sex. I quote, "Sexual intercourse, having sex, can involve the penis and vagina, or the mouth and the genitals, or the penis and the anus." Keep in mind, this book is recommended for 6 to 12-year-olds. Page 51 describes masturbation. I quote, "Kids, teenagers, and grown-ups to experience sexy feelings when they masturbate. Masturbation is touching or rubbing any part of your body's sex organs for pleasure because it feels good. Masturbating is perfectly normal." This reminded me of the situation when a legal analyst for CNN back in 2020 was caught masturbating on a Zoom meeting with his colleagues. He was fired from his job, and he spent his time off going to therapy and doing other things. So this is not a good idea for us to recommend to our children if an accomplished adult was carried away by this and needed therapy. It's Perfectly Normal goes on page after page describing in detail everything sexual. So armed with this detailed information and the assurance that anything sexual you want to do to yourself and others is perfectly okay, this book is an invitation and encouragement to promiscuous sexual behavior for children. On page 83, our children find out that if using another person's body for sexual pleasure results in a baby being conceived, It is the woman's right to end the unwanted pregnancy. Would we explain it this way? Honey, it means that a factor kills the baby that is growing inside its mother. But since the boy, I'm sorry.
That's your 3 minutes. If you want to continue with the second public comment, we can have you do that. Thank you. There's probably one more, or time for one more before we start the rest of the meeting.
Good afternoon. I'm a retired elementary school teacher. I'm here to express how extremely distraught I am about the Marxist movement being propagated here in my beloved America. Various leaders of this counter-revolution are increasingly outspoken and brazen about who they are, like the National American Public Library Association's president, Emily Drabinski, who boasts that she's a Marxist lesbian. Why would we allow someone in an incredibly influential position to steer our children down a dark path and rob them of their childhood innocence? Her philosophy is not congruent with America's Christian values. It's anti-American. Books such as Genderqueer, Let's Talk About It, and numerous others are part of an indoctrination cult based on queer theory, which doesn't believe that childhood innocence exists. These Marxist theorists think sex is assigned at birth and all children are brainwashed in our society to believe that they have to be male or female. They don't believe in a normal existence. They, from All Boys Aren't Blue, page 2. Gender is one of the biggest projections placed on children at birth. That decision is then used to assume a person's gender as boy or girl, rather than a spectrum of identities: transgender, gender neutral, non-binary, pangender, two-spirit, third gender, genderqueer, et cetera, that the child should be determining for themselves. They shouldn't be assigned by the doctor that they're a male or female at birth. And she believes in this theory. Many of our public libraries are participating in this Marxist counter-revolution by allowing books with highly inappropriate themes: rape, incest, pornography, lesbianism, masturbation. Let's Talk About It, that's in our library for children as young as 12. The illustration on the top half of the page depicts a male bent over with his anus in the air, his hand on his buttocks. There are 2 arrows forming a circle around the anus, indicating a circular motion. The text reads, "After the train has left the station and you've had a chance to wash up or douche back there, you can have an ass load of fun with a healthy heaping of lube. Apply broad pressure to the outside of the entrance. Circle your butthole with your finger, pausing any time a spot feels extra good. Dip the tip just inside. Let your anus pull it in when it's ready. Dive deeper with your finger or a butt plug. Just make sure any objects you put in there have a flared base. Otherwise, your hungry hiney can gobble it up." Ooh, there's a safety tip. These themes are to be contoured and structured to radicalize our children. Get these books out of our libraries and treat children's innocence as sacred once again. We should protect our children, not indoctrinate them. Are you willing to risk an entire library shutdown due to lack of funding in the name of progressiveness, driven by the marching orders of people like Emily Drabinski, head of the American Library Association?
Thank you. Okay, unfortunately, we have to move on. So again, if there's anybody else that didn't get a chance to speak, we'll have public comment at the end as well. So with that, we'll move on to the items on the agenda for today. Everyone was able to get a chance to consent calendar. If did anybody have anything on the consent calendar, any questions regarding? No? Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to adopt the consent calendar.
Motion.
Did you get a motion?
Yeah.
Motion by Commissioner Peterson, and he's supported, support by Commissioner Fournier. Roll call, please.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky.
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes. Okay, next up is the bills to pay. Was there anything that anybody had questions on for that? I guess the only question that I would have is I would recommend that Travis, you just abstain for this. Because something was on there to pay for you. Are you?
Okay.
Is everyone good with that? Okay. So was there anything else that anybody had questions with? No?
Make a motion.
So we have a motion by Commissioner LaHaye to pay the bills,
I will support that motion.
support by Commissioner Francisco. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes. Okay, next item is the budget adjustments. We had a couple of budget adjustments. So I'd look for a recommendation to approve the budget adjustments as presented.
I will make the motion to approve the budget adjustments as submitted or presented.
Got a motion by Commissioner Francisco,
Support.
support by Commissioner Fournier. Any discussion about those budget adjustments? The only question that I have is, what is the IT coordinator line?
That's the 101-228-703.000.
What actually is that? What is the coordinator?
That is going to be your director.
Okay,
So let me quick double check here. Get this to come up. That should be your IT director.
okay. Okay, if there's no other discussions, I'd look, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konachevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes.
Okay, moving right along. So next up is.
Good afternoon.
Veterans Affairs, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Veterans Offices requesting approval to submit the attached application as it's presented to the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency. There is no county match. This has been approved by the Veterans.
Okay,
Motion.
motion by Commissioner Peterson,
I'll second that.
support by Commissioner LaHaye. Any discussion? The only question that I have is, I guess it's the third page from the end, was a 2020 budget report. I was just curious why we included the 2020 budget report.
There should have been a 2017.
I think there was a 2017.
Yeah, there should have been a 2017 and then the current.
It said on the. So again, it looks like it's page 13.
Yeah, it's the 2017 budget. It was printed in 2020. I think that's when we applied for the first budget or for the first grant.
Okay. Makes sense. Thank you. If no other questions, we did a motion. right? If no other questions, roll call.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konachevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson, Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes. Okay, next item is a recommendation to approve the Veterans Affairs request to amend the 24 County Veteran Service Fund Grant.
And this, we're requesting your approval to request that the state allow us to reallocate some funds. We had budgeted originally in the grant $4,500 for shipwreck tour tickets, which we did the prior year. It turned out that was way too many. So we cut that number back, which left us with $2,000 left over. Or I'm sorry, 2,500 left over. And we're requesting that be reallocated for some service officer apparel and then to purchase 2 new desktops for the office.
Okay. So look for a motion. I'd look. for
I'll make some motion.
Motion by Commissioner LaHaye,
I'll support.
support by Commissioner Peterson.
I just have a question if I may, John.
Go ahead.
So the MVAA has approved this reallocation. They have no issue with it?
They haven't approved it yet.
Okay.
With your approval, we'll
Then-
request their approval.
Okay, then you're going to go back to MVAA for their approval. Got it. Okay, thank you for the clarification.
No other questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I almost said Commissioner Osmer. Jesse.
Yeah, just wanted to bring to the board's attention, this precedent was set in 2023. Mary Catherine notified you when we had a maintenance person, who left their position. We do have another individual who is, planning to leave. They're going to be applying for, or filling rather, the vacancy in the Register of Deeds office. So I just want to let you know there'd be a vacancy in our maintenance team.
Okay.
Coming future. It's up to the board whether or not they want to post to fill that position, whether they want to hold off for the time being. I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
We have to keep it vacant for 30 days
Yeah.
before we can even advertise it.
So when is that effective? Did you say?
June 10th is his first day in Register of Deeds, so we have to wait for 30 days after that.
Okay.
Then we'll have to post it 5 working days internally before we can open it up to the public.
Okay,
Anytime, just something to consider and all around.
okay, thank you. All right, next up, we have reports and special ad hoc committees. So my notes say, keep it brief. Just point out the highlights, because I know on these reports, we have the minutes from the meeting. So if you have some highlights from those specific committees, if you'd like to talk about those, go ahead. So first up, we get Commissioner Konashevsky, facilities.
Since you filled in for me, Tom.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
On this one off on me, right?
Right.
Not really. We had the overlays discussion on the bills. Brenda, were you there?
Which meeting?
The facilities, yeah, you were there.
Oh,
Bill, not that, just Bill. Facilities.
yeah.
Facilities, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I think, like I said, most of the stuff was in the minutes, the Northern Lights thing, I did get, oh, you know what, I will say this, and I'll say this right now, so that way everyone hears this, but I did get a call from Northern Lights, and it's kind of a side note, but just so everyone's aware. One of the things, and maybe, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself, because that's one of the things that I have on mind. But we moved all the recycling bins, or majority of the recycling bins, to the Northern Lights Arena. It was brought up to me, a good point was brought up to me. Now we're gonna have, I think we have 8 of those dumpsters there in the parking lot. And I think at some point, we're gonna need to look at maybe a better option with those, if we're gonna continue to leave them there, because I don't know how hard that truck will be on that parking lot when you start loading and unloading 8 dumpsters in that area. What a long-term effect will be on that, but just I wanted to bring that to everyone's mind, and we can discuss that bring that up at,
I talked to Jeremy and he said he didn't mind it as long as they, you get too messy around that container.
well,
So we have
he kind of said the same thing to me, but I guess my bigger concern is the long-term effects to the,
Parking lot.
yeah, because as he mentioned to me, we don't have that kind of money to go sinking into a parking lot with the surcharge.
Well, we can discuss that maybe at the next
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay, other than that, that's all I have. Courts and public safety, Rob. He's not here now. I was at that meeting too, but I don't think there's any, again, most of the stuff was in the minutes, if anyone has any questions. So we'll move on to personnel.
Yeah, I'm just going through it. I can just give you the highlights. I don't know if they hired Al Rapson for the manager.
Yeah, you start.
He did start? Okay. For the
manager for the animal shelter.
Yeah, part-time.
And the last part. Oh, the health insurance. Jennifer wanted to, starting effective July 1st, the Department of Labor is increasing the salary threshold for administrator and professional employees with the equivalent of an annual salary of 43,088 to 56,656 on January 2025. And this will affect a few county employees. And she'll bring more information back to the future meeting. I can't see where there's anything else, except
Okay.
for the District 2 for a
County Commissioner.
county commissioner.
Or district
That had to be in by the end of this month, the
31st.
30th, I believe.
31st.
Yeah, and that's already been advertised. Nobody so far has applied for.
One
the
person has picked up the application.
Person, okay. Basically, that's it.
Okay, all right. Moving on to other boards and commissions. We'll start with District 1 with Commissioner LaHaye.
The planning commission met, they have two new board members on the committee, and they talked about finances. They talked about the person from Wilson Township was there. They discussed the airport zoning. And that's pretty much.
Okay. Anything from the veterans?
Pretty much Dan gave you all the dope there, so
Okay,
that was
all right. We'll move on to District 2. Did you go to any of the meetings last month?
Hunt did not meet since the last time. I think Thunder Bay Marine Sanctuary did not meet since last time. NEMCOG, I think somebody covered for me, and then Parks and Rec was the only one I went to.
Okay. And that was included in the agenda as well.
And the boat dock is open now at Long Lake Park, is that?
It is. I guess one side note I could mention is we are planning a possible ribbon cutting on June 7th
Yep.
at 3 p.m. I'm just waiting to shore up some stuff. I met with Kurt Braytel this morning, chairman, and hopefully we'll have a flyer out sometime this week.
Okay, all right, thank you. Again, Robin's not here. Was there anything from Central Dispatch, LEPC, or any of those meetings that you're at, Commissioner Francisco, that you could touch on?
Sure, I'll just touch on them quickly. Last meeting was April 30th. And the LPT meeting, the local planning team, they're continue to review the annexes for the emergency operations plan, specifically special events and cybersecurity is their focus here in the very near future. With Central Dispatch, again, policy reviews to ensure that all of the members are understanding what the 911 center policy, Central Dispatch policy is for record policy, ice rescue, and marine emergency policies. And the third meeting was the local emergency planning committee. Again, they're still working with Wholesome on their offsite response plan. It's in review and pending approval. And just a little bit of discussion on their mission statement and again, coordination of all the agencies that are involved with that. Subject to questions, that's all I've got.
Good, thank you. District 4, Commissioner Peters.
Judicial Circuit Court doesn't meet till August. Boa landfill, only thing highlighted come out of the last meeting is we're gonna support the recycling center with some financial funds throughout the year. Target, most of those highlights were in the Alpena News or on the radio, but all these is ready to open. Hampton Inn's progressing. There's been no discussion on DPI, no buyers or nothing like that. And there's still some discussion going with the old Alpena Power Company. Need to build down there, so about it.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Fournier, District 5.
She wasn't at the meeting. I was there.
No, I was not.
Okay,
They had their annual report and they had the update on their finances and everything seems to be going good. There, they have a fund reserve of 816,126. And then Dr. Meyerson gave a report on measles surveillance update. The case is reported in 18 states, 5 cases in Michigan, a large outbreak in Chicago. In 2000, measles were declared eliminated from the US. In 2004, there were 37 cases. 2019, there was 1,282 cases. So the key to getting the people vaccinated so they can get back to eliminating measles. And the avian influenza update identified cases in commercial dairy and poultry farms. In fact, infection can spread to humans and other animals, not shown to spread from person to person at this time. So that's much what's going on there. Some others, just normal things. Everything seems to be under control. They do a pretty good job of taking care of the place.
okay. All right, thank you. District 6, Commissioner Francisco.
So the first area is the NMRE. Just, we met on May the 6th. Just a couple of quick statistics. Right now, the 2024 treatment statistics, including admissions, is slightly higher than it was in 2023. Year to date, there's been 164 different admissions, whether it's outpatient or inpatient rehab. And alcohol continues to be the number one drug of use, if you will, at 53% of the total are alcohol related, with methamphetamine use being the second at 24% of the total admissions. And the next meeting is July the 8th. The opioid update, everyone's aware at our Finance Ways and Means Committee meeting, we approved the RFPs for distribution of funds, and thank you everyone for that. And I believe those the requests for funding are coming into the treasurer's office. They indicated that they've sent one so far. You haven't got it yet? Okay, I'll follow up.
And technically, that should be going to the commissioner's office because
Okay.
it's been approved by you guys and it would be signed off and coded down there and then distributed up to the clerk's office.
Okay, good enough. I'll get back with them, but.
We'll keep an eye out if it shows up.
Okay. Thank you for that. And just lastly, that's not on here, we're still meeting between the county and the city coordination for animal control. We met again this morning, and we're going to continue looking at the next step. The next action is to review the ordinances, both county and city ordinances, and then synchronizing those two so that we will be mutually supportive rather than working divergently. So subject to questions, that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. District 7, Commissioner Konchesky.
The Community Corrections Advisory Board is until early this next quarter coming up. And the Road Commission had their meeting up in Mackinac for last month, so I wasn't able to attend that. I did read through their minutes, nothing overwhelming with that. And that's really all I have.
Okay, thank you. I did touch on the recycling, the dumpsters. The only other thing that I will mention is the request by the recycling committee last week, right? Thursday.
Yes.
There was a discussion, and when I read through the minutes, one of the things that they're requesting is that the county sign as the grantor for a $750,000 loan. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of that. At this point, there was nothing in front of us to agree upon or make a motion on, but that's giving you some time to think about how you feel about that. They did say that they'd be pursuing all avenues. They would continue to pursue all avenues to find a way to get that $750,000, but that was one of the items that that was discussed, and I did make a mention that I didn't know how great that would go over with us considering it. And I even mentioned you. I didn't mention you by name, but they knew who I was talking about.
I'm sure they did.
So
What is the $750,000 for?
to secure the rest of the, or the money that they need to build the facility. Yeah, so there's nothing at this point that we have to agree to, but I know Bill and I had a conversation about that, and I think probably we all agree where what we feel is how we should move on that, but again,
What was the talk you had?
Bill,
Yeah.
probably the same talk that I would have had with you. So, yeah, I'm not thrilled about being a grantor on a 700.
No.
And I did say, what happens when facility no longer can sustain itself? Then the county's stuck with
That's what I've been saying right along. County's gonna
So-
get stuck with it.
but anyway, that more to come on that. And that's all I really have. So moving on, we don't have any unfinished business or correspondence. So we do have a new business, a discussion for the hunt vehicle. And I think the reason that we were just going to discuss that was we pretty much beat this one into the ground, right, Terry? With all the back and forth and questions. But I think the reason that we want to have a discussion is so that way when someone looks back, when a commissioner in 5 years looks back to what happened this year with that hunt vehicle, because that was the problem. They said the vehicle is the property of Hunt, but yet the title was in our name. So I think we wanted to make sure that there was a discussion where, as we move forward in, future years, that any future, like when Travis is on his 20th year as a county commissioner, he can remember back to what we did today. So I don't know if we want to make a motion or what we want to do with that, because ultimately the vehicle doesn't belong to us. It's in our name, but the funds by Hunt were used to purchase the vehicle.
I remember right when I was sitting on the hunt board, Hunt can't own a vehicle.
Well, yeah, and I think what's the guy's name?
Stu
Sharp. Stu, yeah. He mentioned that we're the fiduciary for Hunt because they can't own anything. So again, I think the only reason that this is on here was to have the discussion, to make sure that in the future, that when someone's looking back, because I don't know if Lynn, who you guys, Commissioner's Office went back quite a ways. Kim, were you part of that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you didn't find anything in the minutes, correct? Okay.
Are we insuring it?
We do insurance.
Yes.
They
but
reimburse.
Yeah, they reimburse.
So,
Sorry.
so we're not paying for anything for it,
Right.
like we're the go-between. Right?
Yeah, the issue, I think the issue is just, we wanted to make sure, we couldn't find any documentation where this agreement was ever set up. We just wanted to make sure that there was something going forward, as you said, just so you'll have
So we have
something to
something.
reference. And so that there was something actually on the record that we agreed to this type of marriage, I guess, so.
That would be good to have something in a record. And we didn't.
Just a question, is Hunt I know it's multi-agency, but is it also multi-jurisdictional? I mean, do they serve more than Alpena County?
Yes,
It is.
Okay.
I believe so.
Yes.
Okay.
But again, I think the other county, and I'm not sure which county.
We're the fiduciary for them.
Okay.
So we handle the money. So then they receive money. I can't give you all counties now.
Okay.
Um,
But all the money is processed.
It comes through just like with district health.
Okay.
They handle other counties, but we are the fiduciary, so all their funds process in and out through us.
So is there any thoughts on how we should just put it, if we make a motion on, I don't know what the motion would be, but
I have I think the issue was where they traded in a vehicle, which is fine if they, used it to purchase a new vehicle. But the problem was they came to me and asked for the title, me to sign off on it, and I had no record that that vehicle actually went to them because it's titled in Alpena County and I don't have any record that that VIN number belongs to Hunt.
So then would you be okay now with the new vehicle?
I mean, I received the new title to the county of Alpena. So I mean, we just kind of traded one for trading, but in the future, if Hunt comes and asks for a title because they traded one in, it'd be nice to say, okay, this is a list of vehicles that Hunt actually does own.
I would suspect that they only have one that's in our name.
I think they have a couple of them at least.
Oh, okay.
I think just for clerical purposes, putting the VIN number where he knows.
Yeah, so I don't
Yeah.
know for somebody else.
Far away.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. So, I mean, unless they have obviously the VIN number that they'll give me, but, if they don't have that, then it'd be nice to know which vehicles belong to Hunt but are titled to the county of Alpena.
So are you good to go with the new vehicle?
The current one, yeah, it's fine. I mean, I can obviously mark down that VIN number, but I believe I have a couple other titles that are under the section of Hunt.
So-
I'm not sure if they
So would
actually
it be
belong.
best if we have them give us a list of all their vehicles with the VINs?
Right, that would be a good idea.
Okay.
Yes, you can get all.
I'll take care of that, yeah.
Okay.
Do want to take care of that.
Okay. So we're good with that then? We'll move on. Okay.
Before we move on, I just want to ask, we talk about remembering something in 20 years. What I don't remember is a whole lot of that library vote. So it was an obviously disturbing conversation.
But we'll have more conversation. Sure.
Yeah, but I would like Mr. Osmer to send out the minutes from the meeting where that stuff was voted on. Perhaps if I did vote, maybe I was misunderstanding.
Well, I don't think you voted.
I certainly don't recall voting on that,
Maybe I'm messed up. Voting on what?
on the books that are
No,
in our
so that
library.
was voted on by the library board.
Library board.
So the only thing that we do is every year we appoint a new member to the library board. Last year we appointed two because one passed away. And then we had to appoint two. I think we just recently appointed one person to that. So basically every December. So anybody that's looking just throwing this out there for people so that way the people in the audience here today, every year we look for a new member to be appointed to the public library. So normally we do that in November, we advertise it in November, and then I think we do the interviews in December. So every year there's 5 board members and each board member serves a 5-year term. So as far as this board making decisions over them, we're kind of like you. We cannot dictate to them what they do. Ultimately, the citizens are going to make that choice and I think my conversation with
Arbor?
No. Bruce, he called me, was that we can't really dictate to them. But the citizens of Alpena County can and should go to those public meetings and discuss how they feel. And ultimately, this is not the year for them to be picking a battle over what books should be staying or what books should be, moved or whatever. Based on what Bruce had indicated, and I'm probably getting sidetracked here, but I just felt like, because you brought this up, that this is the time that they should be listening to the people that are coming to those meetings, because ultimately, if there's enough people that are irritated, and I know, and I told Bruce this, I said, the problem is we don't have an additional, whatever it is, 250,000 or whatever it is a year to shell over to that. They're maybe picking the wrong battles. So, but anyway, I'm good sidetrack. So
Is that a scenario where we maybe should think about putting a liaison on that board like we do with the road commission?
I don't know how much, because again, you can go, well, it probably would hurt maybe. And I have no problem If anyone, are you asking to?
Well, certainly all of us have more than enough to do, but obviously it's an issue.
Yeah.
One of the things I think we can do at a minimum is we've had some concerned citizens come forward is ask the library board president and or the director of the library come in and let us ask them the questions and hear their response.
We did have them in.
I think we did a
We
few
did.
months, several months ago.
We
They
did.
do, like they gave us a library 101 and then
Sure.
they just came in recently. And again,
Yeah.
you know, how that meeting went the last time that they came in with the increase in the millage, then it
Right.
was shot down.
Right.
Again, I think they really need to think on what they want to pick their battles, which battles they want to pick. So let's start with that. And I don't know what would you recommend, Jesse, for a meeting? Which meeting or would it be under facilities?
It's a facility.
Facility,
I think let's do that. Let's put it on the facilities to have them come in and talk, because ultimately, if this millage doesn't pass, and I'm not saying don't pass the millage, but if the millage doesn't pass, you know, what's the county's next steps, or what will our next steps be in case that doesn't happen? So we can add it to if you're all right with that, Travis?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just for clarification, there are two separate library millages.
There's one for the,
One is the operating millage and which is going to be on the ballot, and the other one is
20-year.
the building authority library millage, which pays for the bond.
Yep.
That is not on the ballot. That won't,
That was a 20-year one, correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and double check if it was 15 or 20 at this point. But, you know, that will still be on people's tax bills, still be coming in. Because
But ultimately, that's not the money that they need to operate.
that is not their operating money. No, it is,
Okay.
like I said, just for clarification purposes, that is for the bond or loan payment,
So.
not
I
operating.
think that's what we can do, is put it on the facilities, have them come in and have a discussion, and then we can go from there.
The library is a very important tool for our community, no doubt. And, you know, I think we all would hate to see it go away for an issue like this, but this is also definitely an issue I think that we need to look at.
Yeah. Well, Bruce indicated, Jesse and I did go in that one time just to see, and I had indicated what was told to me by Bruce was that adults aren't allowed into that section without a minor or a child. And I'm like, Jesse and I both went in there without anybody questioning anything. So I think we can definitely have that discussion at the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, so moving on, we need to rescind the board action number 8 made by our at facilities, finance ways and means on 5/14. That's attached. Basically, was asked by me was the motion that we would pay or basically transfer the land for the 124,000. And in the motion, it says that anything over the 124 would be covered by Mr. Jennings. But then we got, what was that? We got another document which basically contradicted the motion. And I believe, and again, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but the way that I thought that the motion should have been was that the total cost of the land was 135. So anything over the 135 would have been paid by you, and then anything under the 135 would have come back to the county.
Right.
Okay, so our motion wasn't correct. The way we did the motion was anything over the 124, and I thought that that's what your intent was, but so I asked that we put it on today to correct that motion.
So anything to clarify, anything of the 124,800 up to 135.
Yeah, the difference between 24. Yeah.
If it goes above the 135, we absorb the cost. Check.
Okay. So, how do we rescind the motion? Just make a motion to rescind?
Correct.
Or can we just correct? Can we make a correction to it?
I have to think you have to.
You have to- you have to-
Rescind it first and make
So
a
we'll
correction.
rescind- so I'd look for a motion to rescind action item number 8 for made on, at the Facilities Ways and Means Committee on 5/14/24.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion
I'll
by
support.
Commissioner Peterson, and support by Commissioner Fournier. Discussion. If not, all those in favor signify by saying, or do we need a roll call?
Roll call, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes.
Now you gotta word it. How you want.
So now take that same motion and add in or change the amount to the, get it up? Yeah. So the motion, to convey the lots 5 and 6 for 135,000 to Mr. Jennings, and that he incur all costs and anything between 124, 280, and the 135 will be paid back to the county.
Yes, and the revised purchase agreement states that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I saw
Yeah.
that. Okay. Okay, so,
I'll make that motion.
thank you.
Okay.
So Commissioner Peterson made the motion
I'll support.
and Commissioner Fournier supported that. Roll call.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
No. With that, I think we're back into public comment. So at this point, if there's anybody left that wants to have a public comment, again, 3 minutes, we'll keep your time so that way if everybody, give everybody an opportunity to have a discussion that wants to talk. And again, you could state your name and address.
Hello, my name is Michael Kramer. I live in District 1. And I'm here to comment on trust in government. And I've been going to the library meeting since the beginning of this controversy. And it keeps striking me in the face that they really don't care what we think. And when we pay 96% of the bills, that's a bad position for them to take. And then in reading the passages out of these books, it became, I raised 6 children. It became drastically apparent to me that these people are off in left field, way off in left field. And when they brought the library, because we didn't go away, 40, 50 people coming to the meetings, finally brought in the attorney from the Michigan Library Association. And the word salad that that woman put out for a solid 40 minutes was the most ridiculous pile of things I've ever heard. That had nothing to do with what we were talking about, but everything to do with you're wrong and we're going to do this. This is the way it should be. The adherence to that philosophy by members of the board who will go unmentioned was astonishing. And when they told us we have no right to tell them where these books should be placed or to go after that, it really upset very much. And so they came, argued, don't want to do it. So we can't do it now until we change the rules, the way that you relate to the board. But they haven't been following the rules all along. So how in the world can we feel confident that they're going to get that together and then make some adult decisions about where this pornographic material should go in our library before the millage comes up? They're playing brinksmanship, and as a manager and an owner of business, that is not the way you treat the public. You're walking into a trap and they're setting it for us. And we're not going away, and the churches in town aren't going away. Everybody's really upset. And if you read those passages, it's disgusting. Disgusting material. And it's leading, if children read that, this is grooming. It's period. That's what it is. I won't tolerate it. I'll work with Bruce and we'll get this thing put to bed one way or the other. But I love books. I buy books constantly. My budget for books is about as big as theirs. I would love to be involved in picking books for that library to bring in something besides garbage like they're bringing in. And I've been submitting requests for books at a request of one of the board members, who you know, I'm sure, just to get educational books in that are pertinent to health and farming in this community that's in a rural setting. Thank you very much, and I'm sure you'll do the right thing.
Thank you.
I have something to say, John, if I can get up. I'm not here about the library. I'm here about the taxes that's coming. Yeah.
Time's up.
Time's up.
Came off in the right time. But all I want to say, I put a write-up in the paper and I named the commissioners as the fault of why the Alpena County is going down. And because you really didn't listen to Kim and you kept spending the money. And it happened some before you came. And John and Brenda always.
Bill, part of it, we've been on the line.
Yeah.
But you always said no, and I listened. But the tractor parts are going up and everything else, it's going to be hard. So I hope that don't go through. I'm just telling you about the election.
All right, thank you.
Just gonna say one more thing. I'm still Dorothy, and I'm still at Maple Ridge. Just so you know, even though the vote was 100%, there was one person who did work very hard. And I think the caveat that they gave him is that they're gonna go back and look at their protocol for collections in the library. However, having met face to face with several of the people on the board who are exactly responsible for putting those books where they are, I don't have much faith that that's going to change. So our only course is to go 100% for defunding this library. And that is the course that we're going to take, because if I'm not mistaken, it's August, it's not November, that they're going to be voting on this. So we don't have much time. We can't depend that they're going to have something done by next month. And this is where they've left us. It's not that we don't want a library for our children and our grandchildren, but they haven't left us much choice at this point. So if you're going to bring them in and talk to them, I give you that. You know, we're going to go full force to try to defend them.
We'll just tell everybody that that's a public meeting as well, so.
They don't allow anybody to speak
No.
like this, but they will not correspond.
And our facilities that we'll have a meeting with them will be a public meeting, so you're welcome to come to that.
Oh, okay. We can't even get information as to what to do when they don't follow their own policy. They won't talk to you, so.
Thank you. Looks like our time is up today.
Timing's everything, I guess. Kevin Ginter, 390 South Lawn in Alpena. A couple of things. I had some recent interactions with the county clerk's office and the county commissioner's office. Asked a couple of questions and I needed some replies. They were both quick turnaround and a very professional response and thorough. It was also nice to see a lot of people put up with the weather for yesterday's Flanders Field Memorial Day recognition. And my last thing is the big event off the young lady who left already is I've often looked at the physical responsibility part of what the county deals with. And my recommendation, the place I'm going with this is I've spoke to this before, is a review or some type of open bid process to figure out where the county ALS contract seems like maybe it's I'm not commenting on the service to the citizens per se as far as the people to their patient, but the response time to Wellington, Long Rapids, Green Township, those are not 10 minutes or less response time. Those people that live out in that area do pay a little bit more in the transportation because of the mileage fee for a loaded mileage fee from the scene of the call or the residence to the Alpena Hospital or My Michigan. And I would just ask that, or my recommendation would be to extend a 1 year at the same contract level, price, so on, fee structure for 1 more year and take that additional year to look at whether it ends up back with city fire or not. That's up to you guys. But I would request that you look at the bigger picture and how it impacts the county and what people pay and the service level. I mean, if I was a business, I'd want to provide the same level of service to the people who are close versus the people who are 30+ minutes to Wellington or Green Township, Long Rapids. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay.
I forgot to say my name the first time, Noni Muller. I'm going to finish what I was saying about the childhood sexual abuse and that sexual abuse can occur even if no bodily contact is ever made, AKA a book. Incest Survivors Resource Network states that the erotic use of a child, whether physically or emotionally, is sexual exploitation in the fullest meaning of the term, even if there's no bodily contact made. So it can come in all kinds of situations. I did say about how the symptoms extend or into adulthood, and children who are abused at an early age become hypersexualized, sexually active. Issues with promiscuity and poor self-esteem are unfortunate common reactions. And that's understatement of what can happen. Substance abuse is another common outcome. Specialists in the field of addiction, which includes alcohol, drugs, and eating disorders, 90% of their patients have been sexually abused. Some form of abuse. I already went over the list of symptoms, which is mere, it's not detailed. There's many, many physical illnesses that people have. There's psychosomatic illnesses, there's sleep disturbances, there's relationship issues, et cetera, et cetera. It just goes on and on. These people have difficulty coping with life because of the impact of the trauma. And also, as I said before, that people who have been sexually abused, children or otherwise, are more likely to go on and perpetuate the cycle of abuse because they will abuse and out as they had been done to them. In closing, I want to say, hearing the discussion about finances and so on, if you can only imagine this growing tsunami, we've already got an epidemic of abuse, of breaking laws, of acting out, theft, drug trafficking, sexual trafficking, grooming, all of those things. Can you imagine the tsunami that's going to come as we allow our children to be exposed to materials that are totally inappropriate? And some of the stuff from those books that were read, 7-year-olds learning about sex? I don't think so. And then any of the psychological developmental books say that that is way, way too young. And yes, our culture is such that they're coming earlier into sexual awareness because our culture is so riddled with it. But 7-year-old, even 12-year-olds, it's unconscionable in my opinion. So with all of the issues, if it could even be boiled down to a financial situation where we can't put these books in the library, we can't put more load deliberately, intentionally on our mental health providers here in the community. They're overwhelmed. We need more services. It's not happening. We're not having a lot of success. So with that, I'll just say that thank you for your consideration of all this terrible, terrible stuff that's happening.
One more quick one.
You have 3 minutes. You don't need to make it quick.
I know you guys want to go. And I didn't come prepared. Gordon Silkworth, Maple Ridge Township. Since this has become apparent, I've been attending the meetings and stuff, and as they say, kind of convey that we can't ask them questions. Or, well, we can ask questions, but they're not required to answer. And the financial part keeps coming up. They want more money. And like the all boys are blue, I understand there was 2 copies. Now there's more. If they're just gonna keep increasing this, and parents find out the cost base, customers coming or, you know, patrons, it's gonna diminish. Because people aren't gonna want their kids or grandkids or all that, you know, seeing this crap. And, like, you know, when I was a kid, the library was packed. You went to the library, that's the only place you had the information. Now it's on the end of your phone, in your hand. And leaving these meetings, to me, I'm looking, it's like a ghost town there. There's several, you know, maybe a couple. But the cost effectiveness, they want more money, but if they're gonna put that stuff in, people are gonna stop coming. They don't want their kids to get infected or, you know, worse. So it might be kind of looking at it from that aspect too. Why would we gonna give you more money to do something that parents don't want? Thank you.
Anybody on Zoom? So, you know, I'll just add one more final comment with this library. Normally, just so you know, again, with boards, public comment usually is an interactive discussion. But I will say 2 things. One is, you know, we will have the meeting with the individuals at the facilities. Again, you're welcome to come to that because it's a public meeting. Then the second thing that I would recommend, suggest is, again, we have a lot of boards throughout the county, and this is just one particular one. So if anybody's looking to be part of the board, again, every year we appoint a new individual to that board. And I will say that I had a discussion with one of the most recent individuals that is on the board to, when he first came to me, that he was looking to be part of that board. So I think, and again, I haven't attended meetings, but again, this is a good opportunity to be part of helping that situation maybe move forward, but we will have a discussion at the facilities. So with that, we're going to go into, and I did you all a favor because I had the public comment before, because I didn't think you'd want to sit out the hallway to come back in. So we're going to go into closed session now to have a discussion. Thank you for attending.
How will that meeting be announced?
It's always the same Wednesday, second, third Wednesday of the month at 9 a.m.
19th, Wednesday, June 19th at 9 a.m.
And it's a 9 o'clock meeting, Travis, not 9:30.
Okay.
Is it
So roll call, please.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Here.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Here.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Here. Okay, we have no other items for discussion, so I would look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Fournier, second by Commissioner Peterson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, same sign. Adjourned.